Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the AR Wrestling Podcast, where, again, we're going to go over this week's Raw and Smackdown. So, while you got time, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Enjoy the show. Let's get into it.
What's going on, Ryan? How you been?
Bro, I've been good. Just chilling out.
You been feeling a little oozy?
Been feeling oozy, my dog. Let's get it.
Of course. Well, let's just hop right into it, man. Let's hop right into Raw. So,
right into the Raw.
I'm already going to start with Uncle Howdy. We already started early. So, Drew McIntyre comes out, and the camera pans to the crowd when he comes out, whatever. But there's a mysterious figure seen during his entrance.
Really?
People are kind of speculating that this is something that has to do with Uncle Howdy, but I watched a video that night and saying it wasn't. But we might see. I'm going to get more into that when we get there, obviously. But he opened, and what I really liked, what I wish they would have done at the beginning of the tournament was put the king and queen of the king of the ring and queen of the ring crowns at the entranceway.
Oh yeah, dude, that looks sick. I love that visual.
Yeah,
Especially
I like that visual.
Sometimes the podiums react, I think, to the wrestlers' entrances.
Do they really?
I think I might be wrong on that, but I think they have LEDs on the podiums too that are connected to them. Because I think had swords or flames on them.
Yeah, but he kind of just again kept picking at Punk, and he basically subliminally brought up his past. He goes, "You look like a drug addict who never took drugs," but we all know way back when Punk had at least, though I know of, had an alcohol problem. I don't know about other things that he took, but I found that pretty interesting. Or like his dad or something like that. I know Punk had a big issue with alcohol at one point in his life.
For sure, it was his dad. Pretty sure Punk has never, or at least claims, I'm pretty sure it's true, has never done alcohol or drugs.
Which, if that's true, that is insane. That is good for him. But, if you're a CM fan, Punk, you're stupid.
Only sometimes.
I thought that was
I might only be stupid on some days.
Right. But that immediately gets cut off. Damien's music hits. All rise for El Campeón.
El Campeón.
And Drew would wave at Priest on his way in. And Damien was basically like, you're blaming everyone else for your failures. And basically that Drew is on Damien saying that he's a BS champion. And if you, that is insane. It is like,
called him a paper champion, bro.
I
said your title reign is a joke.
And what's sad is I actually agree with Drew. I think Damien is just a what do you call that? Like an almost the champion. Yeah, thank you. Transitional champion. And that Drew's gonna win that Clash of the Castle, just my opinion. But basically it's just a promo cut between those two and how they're just going back and forth at each other. Damien brought up a good thing. He's basically told Drew, like, dude, you got your ass whooped by a one-armed man. Like, how do you manage that?
How do you manage? He wasn't even in a match or nothing. He was just sitting on commentary. Drew just had to make it all about Punk.
Yeah, and then Drew he's like, Punk can cost me, Damien cost me. No, dummy, you could have walked right up that aisle, went to the back, and nothing. But no, you had to crawl up, seductively crawl across the announce table at WrestleMania, look at Punk, give him the suck it symbol, and just kind of sit there. Like, what? You're not. It's Punk. He's gonna do something. Like, do you not know? Punk was gone for 10 years. Doesn't mean the man's changed.
Hell no. Punk ain't gonna take that shit.
No, and I think what we see,
pettiest man in wrestling.
I really think Damien needs to keep it, and then have Punk versus Damien, and then have Punk win it off Damien, just to piss off Drew more. I think this is gonna be lead where Drew pisses off. Like, we keep pissing Drew off. Just keep pissing him off until we get to a point of no return with him, and then it's just he full blown just goes on this tear throughout the company more than what he has, and absolutely just he basically becomes. This is gonna sound weird to say, but he kind of becomes Nexus by himself. Like, do you remember what happened when the Nexus debuted?
Yeah, I do.
So they tore up the entire arena. I'm not gonna say he's gonna tear up the entire arena, but he's just gonna start beating everyone's ass just cause.
Hell yeah. Get at Drew.
Then, which could kind of lead into
Scottish
your
psychopath.
real, which could kind of lead into your idea of the, what was it? Why can't I think of the word? It's the hypocritical champion.
Yeah.
I think all of us again will lead into that when he wins. I really do agree with you on that. I think it's going to be something that we see with Drew, but this isn't going to be just some like random like he's going to hold it again for 5 minutes. So he's going to hold it for at least a few months.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But
like, I would love to see that.
Of course, yeah, I would too. Honestly, we're moving to round 2 of the Queen of the Ring tournament. We see Io Sky versus Shayna Baszler. Before the match, though, there was some scuffling in the parking lot before the show, which was shown. And Shayna would attack Io during her entrance. So that was pretty interesting.
Oh, these two got a personal feud going on.
Mm-hmm. But Michael Cole mentioned their feud way back in Stardom.
Which is where we hear him even mention that.
Mm-hmm. This is the match where we also saw the Uncle Howdy QR code. And commentary actually mentioned it. And that was the first time commentary's ever mentioned Uncle Howdy. Ever.
Well, they didn't mention him by name, but they mentioned the QR codes. They mentioned they've been noticing these glitches happening. And Pat, I think, talked about he scanned it or something.
The Io match, Io and Shayna, the match was honestly a good back and forth. Honestly, with Shayna obviously having the upper hand. But I think with Io attempting to fight back, she eventually did. And oh my god. Sorry, listeners. I am not feeling the best.
Sick.
But Io attempted an over the moonsault, and Shayna was able to get her feet up in time and caught Io. But Shayna tried to grab Io in the Karakuda clutch, and Io was able to escape and lock some FTF. This is awesome chance to begin, obviously, because these two know how to put on a show. Really, they do.
Oh, yeah.
They're phenomenal athletes in their own respective rights. But Io would end the match with her moonsault, which is not the prettiest moonsault ever, because that belongs to Tiffy Time.
It's Tiffy Time.
And we would see Io. We would see Io win the match, beat Shayna in round two. And which I think who does she face? I forget.
Who does she face next?
Yeah, who does she face next week? Is it Lyra?
That got decided later on in the night with Lyra Valkyria.
Which I like that, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
So I think we'll see something huge with that because they were both huge in NXT, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
Huge stars.
Banger of a match. Two I wouldn't say homegrown WWE stars because Io is from Japan Stardom. She did all sorts of independent stuff. Sorry. And when it comes to Lyra, yeah, she is definitely more WWE homegrown, but that's going to be a phenomenal match.
Agreed. And I mean, I think it would also be kind of phenomenal. Carlito actually joining the Judgment Day. Or at least trying to join some stable with Dominic alone because they don't like Ray.
Have you noticed that Dominic has been growing his mustache out a lot more and Carlito completely shaved his off?
Dirty Sanchez. We got Dirty Sanchez and Uncle Roberto.
Uncle Roberto.
I mean, Carlito, again, once tried to join the Judgment Day. Damian is just not the biggest fan at all. Damian does not like Carlito. He thinks Carlito has yet to prove his worth. Carlito, again, same with Punk. He was gone for, 10, 12 years, something like that? I forget.
Something like that. Long time.
But Carlito left something on Damian's mind. And the whole Judgment Day, really. He goes, the most stubborn minds can be changed. And maybe one day we can all be amigos. I like that because to me, that was going to lead into something with when Damian had a title match that he was going to help Damian win. But we actually see something later on in the night. But before we get on to that, we get to Chad Gable. Gable's
fucking Gable. Chad Gable sucks.
Gable sucks. I don't think we're going to end up seeing this like team angle that you and I have been talking about here recently on the
I'm
podcast.
Fucking holding out. I'm holding my breath. I got my fingers crossed. I'm fucking please.
I'm holding out as well, and I agree to it as much as you do. I think it should happen at some point. But I mean, knowing WWE, they're gonna, pull some strings and do the complete opposite.
Probably.
Unless Triple H gives us what we want.
Give us what we want.
He's given us what we want so far, so.
Want Perk Gable.
We need Perk Gable. But Gable lost his shit on Maxine for losing over the weekend at the live event, which, again, sucked for Triple H's booking because he wants to book all these crazy matches. You just don't have enough airtime for that. Because you also have to bring in the promos, the backstage promos, all those segments as well. On top of it, you also have to deal with the commercials and all the sponsors that you have for, your company or whatever.
Of course.
But Gable, he wants Otis to beat Sammy, and he looks at Otis like, I need the serious Otis. And Otis goes to walk away to go to his match, but Gable goes, say it. And then I think it was like something like along the lines of,
no matter what.
It was like, no matter what, like, he'll do it. But and then he just bitched at Tozawa just to bitch at Tozawa. Like, it's the same thing. But we did see, like, we've been seeing Ivan Al come in to be, like, Maxine's little, like, savior, which I like. But he walked up, or Gable came back this time, and he goes, you don't have to put up, or Ivan Al goes, you don't have to put up with him. But Gable comes back and looks at Ivan Al, goes, and stop messing with Taylor Not So Swift over there. And then Pat McAfee on commentary, Gable sucks. Gable sucks. Gable sucks. Chad Gable sucks.
I agree with
Pat.
Thought
that was awesome.
I agree
with Pat as well.
Fucking Gable's a dick.
Gable's become a dick, but he plays his character so well. Like, he's good at it.
He is good at it. He's good at being an asshole.
You know who we need to bring back, though? Bring back the good American, the goody two-shoes. Bring back one of the greatest WWE champions of all time, Bob Backlund. Have him chicken wing Chad Gable and end it all.
From fucking nowhere comes Bob Backlund.
Wow. Rumble Bob Backlund comes in just for Chad Gable, chicken wings him, gets thrown over.
I was not expecting that. Do it. Book it, Triple H.
Book it, Paul. Book it.
Book it.
But I mean, I think with Chad Gable being healed, they need to do something with this. They can't keep kind of just leaving it where it's at.
I agree with you. I would love to see. I think something might happen where Gable continues to turn heel and maybe kicks out Tozawa and Maxine. And I think if we don't see the Creeds join Gable's side, then we'll see Otis maybe reluctantly stay by Gable's side. You know what I mean?
Or he's kind of feel bad that if he leaves Gable, he's gonna he's gonna be bad, so he stays with Gable.
Yeah, so he stays with Gable because he doesn't want to, because they've been best friends for all this time, and Gable's his coach and all that, and it's more of he feels like he has to stay more than he wants to stay.
Yeah, because I mean, Gable's helped him out so much. I mean, Gable's done with all the bullshit. I'm kind of excited to see where this comes from. Where are the Creed brothers at? We haven't even seen them here recently. Maybe I think we saw them last week, the week prior. It was something like that.
Yeah, we did.
But
we saw them actually tonight or on this episode of Raw, so we'll get there eventually.
Of course we will. But something that always rocks is the New Day.
New Day.
We saw them backstage with Kathy Kelly. Xavier's on crutches. Basically, Kofi was like, dude, tonight's about payback for Woods because Woods is injured. He can't defend his title. And Woods is like, dude, I can't defend that honor of being reigning and defending King of the Ring. So now Kofi is the reason that he's in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, we actually moved into the match, but we had a nice little surprise before King of the Ring round 2.
This was awesome.
We saw none other than, I don't know if she's a Hall of Famer, but we saw Lillian Garcia come and announce the match, which was, dude, that was just nostalgia. That was
I was
awesome.
effing, bro.
I,
Oh man, I was so excited to see
I
Lillian
loved it.
Garcia back.
Um, she basically told Samantha on mic that she's proud of what she's done. I mean, Samantha Irvin's come so far. Now, if we could get Alicia Taylor to start doing similar things as Samantha Irvin, our entrances all across the board would be so much better.
Oh
But
my
that's
god,
just my
bro.
opinion.
We're gonna have two all-time great ring announcers at one time.
That's what I'm saying. But we move into the match. Kofi again is fighting for just fighting for Xavier Woods. So he's fighting Gunther.
Oh, Gunther!
Gunther. Dun, dun,
Dun,
dun.
dun, dun, dun,
Kingston
dun.
would actually jump Gunther and attack his knee, which I thought was interesting. But
Going after the knee,
we
trying to
saw
injure him in the tournament.
like he did to Woods, yeah. And basically, Gunther um didn't really look like he had a lot of control in the beginning of the match, but once he got control, it was wraps for Kofi. Um, the match definitely did go outside of the ring normally, but that helped on Gunther give his upper hand, and he locked in a Boston Crab on the announce table, and then a half crab as well. Like he was tearing up Kofi's back. I mean, just look at Kofi's chest. Just imagine what his back's feeling. But
Bro, he's really getting that Boston Crab over Gunther is. That's a really
yeah,
killer submission.
mm-hmm. I mean, it's really just the walls of Jericho if you look at it.
It is, yeah, it is the Walls of Jericho.
But I like Boston Crab better with Jericho not being in the company.
Yeah.
But we go back and forth in the ring. They get back. Kofi would escape another Boston Crab and try to hit a SOS for a near fall. Then basically they get back out and they're both like right there. Kofi would escape a powerbomb and launch Gunther into the ring post and would hit a Trouble in Paradise, and Gunther's right there. He's almost counted out. Like right there. It's right there. And Kofi would go for a Trouble in Paradise, which Gunther would hit a powerbomb and just locks in the Boston Crab again and would actually make Kofi tap out.
It's pretty savage. That powerbomb, he just plants him in the ring. He doesn't even let go. He just lifts him straight up, steps over his back, and just bends him in half. Dude, it was savage. I love watching Gunther wrestle.
I do too. I would be scared to be put in a Boston Crab. I have been before. It hurts, but I mean, damn.
Dude, it's freaking epic.
I mean, I like that, but we also saw.
I'm loving this because this definitely presents Gunther as like the dominant force in the King of the Ring tournament, as the
basically, like
obvious
you said,
favorite right now.
Have him live up to his ring general name, which again, if you don't, well, actually, you and I just talked before this. If you don't push the Bloodline story into King of the Ring, you push Gunther versus someone else and have Gunther win it and have him cement his ring general name even more. In my opinion.
Which is the angle that I would be most favorable towards.
Because
I'm all for Gunther getting this huge tournament win after losing the IC belt at WrestleMania, which I don't think hurt him in any way. But he definitely now needs the big boost to get him maybe more so towards the world title scene, because they've been talking about how everyone that's been talking about winning the King of the Ring tournament keeps bringing up a world title shot, keeps bringing up how they're going to like lead from now on and they're going to be the champion. So I assume when you win the King of the Ring tournament, you're going to get a world title shot whenever you won it. Maybe
so kind of like the Money in the Bank thing.
Maybe a little bit similar.
Like the Bank showing.
Maybe it wouldn't. Maybe not so like Money in the Bank. Maybe it wouldn't be a I get to cash in whenever I want. It's more of so you get to call your opportunity. So basically, like I get you at this date on this pay-per-view, and that's when we have the title match.
I like that. I think that's what they should do with it, honestly. I think it would make it so much better for the product itself.
I think it would too, because it'd be like really epic for, in my opinion, you have like maybe Damian Priest or Cody Rhodes, preferably Cody Rhodes, in my opinion, win one of their next big matches, and then Gunther comes out after winning King of the Ring, and he goes, you have until Bash in Berlin, and then that title is mine, and call that match out early.
What if we revisit Gunther versus Drew?
Gunther versus Drew, I'd be all for it, especially
what
if
Drew
we
revisited that
by then.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes,
I think Drew would hold on to the title for so long, and then if Gunther wins this, we see them at Clash of the Castle. We have to see that
dude.
match, or Ilya versus Gunther. One of the two. Something needs to happen with Gunther at Clash of the Castle.
Oh yeah,
I'd be
something
more.
big with
I'd
Gunther.
be more interested in. Oh, actually, those are both good matches.
I want to see them run back the triple threat from Mania 39. Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew, but this time for the world title.
I mean, Sheamus did say he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to go round 4, but we might see it
Ah,
again.
fuck it. Come on, Sheamus.
We might see it again.
It's such a good match. They never have a bad one. They've only had
Never,
like
dude. And it's
3, but they're all good.
they were all very yes. They were just two powerhouses. Absolutely. Then you just
Big
add Gunther to the
motherfuckers.
mix. Dude, fuck it. Make it a fatal 4-way. Add Ilya. Fuck it.
Ilya's like half their size, like height wise, but he'd hold his own in there.
He's
I'd be all
what would they
for
call
it.
a dog.
Dog. He got that dog in him.
Dog. He got that dog in him. But I think we see Gunther win it at Bash in Berlin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Drew wins it. I don't think Drew holds the world heavyweight for so long. I think we see Gunther actually win it. And that's the title Gunther walks into WrestleMania with instead of WWE, like you had predicted at WrestleMania. I
Yeah,
think
I
we
think
see him with
that's
the world heavyweight
potentially
instead
more
of the
likely.
WWE. Just because it's more to keep the brands split. Like, because
Yeah,
we've talked about they've been loose with their drafts in the past. I think if they're going to legitimately keep to this, they need to, go after
I
Drew.
agree with you. I agree. That would be the more likely outcome for them to keep the draft and actually establish that more than to just immediately have Gunther go after Cody's title.
Right. That or say we keep it away and Randy Orton wins it because he did mention that he's never won King of the Ring in his career.
In my head.
They talk to me, they understand, they talk to
Talk
me.
to me.
But I think we see maybe if we run it that way, I would have Randy win it. If we ran it like for a SmackDown heavy side, have Randy win it. Because I mean that it looks to me that like I think Raw is gonna have that King of the Ring like thing. I don't know, like the title, like the person on Raw, the Raw
The
is gonna have
crown.
someone with the title King of the Ring. Yes, the crown. And I think we see something with that. I think honestly, I don't think Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston go after Gunther and Ludwig after they fought Ludwig and Giovanni for so long. Because I mean, they did say, "Oh, not this again." Like, come on now.
Right. I agree
I'm
with you.
tired of seeing this feud. It's basically turning into an LWO and LDF rerun over and over. But if for some reason with this, it just gets better. I don't know why. Every match has gotten better between Imperium and the New Day,
They do
just
have
by a
really
little
great
bit.
chemistry.
Yes. After that though, we saw Adam Pearce and R-Truth talking again. Miz, of course, got upset. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. Like, Truth is trying to defend these titles against people he can't even defend them against because they're not in the company, or it's you haven't ran past your partner.
Right.
Um.
No.
Sorry, that was taking a drink.
No, you're good. You're
I
good,
think
bro.
I think we see something with. I hate to say this, as much as I love R-Truth as this just dumbass character, I want to see him turn heel one last time. Go after
Oh
Miz.
no.
Go after Miz.
I
Or
like
we
our
see.
I like cheering for our truth though.
I know. I love this new R-Truth
He's
and
too
everything, but
pure.
it's not like it's stale because he's been doing this for years. It's not like it's just
Right?
stale. This or going to go stale anytime soon. It's more the fact that like you could
Straight
just
up.
play it on the Truth and Miz history more as well. Or like I said, you turn that team heel like they were back in like 2011 when they got arrested and being kicked out and fired and all that crazy shit when it was the McMahon Helmsley era.
Right.
But
Yeah.
we saw
I'd be happy with that.
Kiana James walk in.
This is
New
interesting.
NXT star on Raw. This is the first time we've seen her on Raw, if I'm not mistaken. She basically thanked Adam Pearce and she goes, "Don't worry, I'll never hesitate. I always adjudicate," which I thought was really funny. and actually like very clever on how she said that. But my favorite part out of that entire thing was R-Truth going, I don't even know if that's legal.
Oh my
Truth.
gosh, we love our truth. But
Like truth,
dude, I'm
dude.
actually pretty interested to see where this goes because Kiana James kind of positioned herself as like Adam Pierce's new assistant with this whole introduction. She's like, if you need anything, just don't hesitate. Let me know. Like, I'm ready to learn under you. I think she said something like that. So I would
Okay.
be interested in seeing Kiana's character be like Pierce's assistant,
Yeah.
understudy kind of role, where maybe slash enforcer when it comes to the women's division, where you have her potentially have matches maybe against Chelsea Green or other women's stars that like get into arguments with Pierce and she can wrestle them on his behalf, or she just enforces like as an assistant general manager everything on Raw with him.
Huh. I'm curious to like. I'm curious on how this all would play out because I want to see Kiana James like get into it, like get in the ring. Like honestly, I haven't seen anything from her yet. I was excited when we brought Ilya the Raw after WrestleMania. I was really excited for that. But I don't know. I don't know much about Kiana James. I would love to see that. I mean, if that's how they run her, I wouldn't be upset. I would just be more confused on why we didn't have like someone with like higher like or more seniority. You know, like in your Natalias, your Rhea Ripley's, your Becky Lynch's, people like those is who I'd probably have like be like the like how Kiana said the adjudicator. I'd probably have them instead of Kiana, just because of the seniority. But that's just me, to be honest.
So you'd have Rhea Ripley be Adam Pierce's assistant.
No, I'm just saying, no, no, like the people, like those with those experience in the WWE so far. Like Becky Lynch has been here since 2016. Rhea's been here
Right.
since 2019. Like have like a vet kind of help out Adam Pierce in a sense. But at the same time, I wouldn't be
I
upset
mean,
if
the
that's how
whole
they ran it.
term,
It's
I
something
mean,
new.
you know that, like, I mean, for an internship, you don't usually hire like an experienced person for an internship. The whole point
No,
of an
right.
internship is to teach a new person. So I think it makes more sense to have a new NXT star put into that role. So she
What if
can
we see
learn about the business instead of somebody that already knows about the business.
what if we yeah. What if we see Adam Pierce actually be like her like like manager in a sense? Like think about that.
Potentially.
Because Adam Pierce has experience in wrestling. It's not like he doesn't. He's held titles
Mhm.
before. He's held championships, and obviously not
Right.
in the WWE. But I wouldn't be upset if that's how they ran this as well.
It'd be interesting to see for sure.
But with another NXT star, we saw Lyra Valkyria with Jackie Redmond, and basically she's like, "Dude, damage control. Better get used to seeing me. I'll be here every week." And then we seen Becky come in and basically it was like, "Hey, Lyra, thanks for having my back and everything through all that whatever happened." Then we see Liv Morgan walk in, which I thought was pretty interesting. Liv
Oh yeah.
congratulates Lyra. Lyra's like, "Okay, dude, whatever." And Liv walked up to Lyra and was like, "Has Becky always been such a bitch?" And it kind of pisses off Lyra and Becky. And then Becky threw one of the weakest punches I've ever seen her throw. And dropped Liv and looked at Liv and called her a bitch, which I thought was fucking crazy. I
Let's
loved
go,
that. That was
Becky.
probably my favorite backstage segment up to that point in Raw. Was just
Let's
Becky
go.
knocking her on her ass. But I think we see Liv again win it at Queen of King of the Ring. Queen of King of the Ring in Saudi. Because this one 100% help set up her revenge tour.
Right.
And then we could
It
have
definitely would.
Tiffany win Money in the Bank.
Time.
It's Tiffy time. Get
It's
to that
tippy
pink diamond
time.
encrusted case,
Please.
which it would help take away from Raw because now you have Rhea versus Liv for that. And now you have basically how this whole time that Tiffany's been wanting to be the main event. Now she has the briefcase. Now she can put herself in the main event whenever she wants.
Hmm.
So that'll help that out. I think so much as well. But with Raw, I'm kind of interested because how do we do LA Knight versus Logan Paul? Like I know I'm getting off topic here, but how do we do LA Knight versus Logan Paul when Logan Paul is on SmackDown and LA Knight's on Raw now?
LA Knight's also on SmackDown.
I thought he got drafted to Raw.
Nope.
I swear
He's still on
I must be
SmackDown.
tweaking.
He's on the SmackDown side of the King of the Ring tournament.
Dude, why did I? What the? I don't know, man. But that being said, let's move into the next backstage segment, which we had like 4 backstage.
Just a quick little walk by.
Yeah, we saw Kofi walk past Karrion Cross, and Karrion Cross is like, dude, there's still more time to turn things around, which I think he's kind of wanting Kofi to kind of join forces with him.
I think that's what they kind of teased here a little bit with Kofi, because Xavier Woods kind of walked up behind him afterwards, and they kind of like shared a weird little look where Kofi was like, I don't know what that was about and stuff like that. Right. I think this is more so building to Final Testament versus the New Day, though.
See Big E
where the New Day is eventually going to have. Oh my god, I wish. Where New Day eventually, yeah, they do have to find a third person to counteract Karrion Cross because the Off is a pain or two, New Day's too, obviously, so they need someone to take him out. But I think that'd be a pretty interesting feud to start running on Raw because Final Testament needs something to do, and New Day needs something to do, unless they're going to keep feuding with Imperium.
I think they just need to do something with Final Testament in general because Final Testament is just not appealing. Like they haven't been able to do anything with crowds.
They got the stuff low key. They just need to be like given the right material, given the right opponents and stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
I think that this group. I honestly think that this group could take off, but it's just like they're not being given anything to really work with, and so they can't really make anything work.
So I think their last match was the SmackDown before Backlash.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was some like big tag team group. It was actually tonight, I think, or on this episode of Raw. Yeah, they were on this episode of Raw too.
Oh shit. Okay, before that, but yeah. Okay. We'll get to that though. I mean, Raw was great, but let's move into where are we? Oh, Jesus Christ, we were just talking. Let's move into the next match before we get more sidetracked.
Bronson Reed
versus Tozawa. Again, we saw or at the beginning we saw Tozawa and Chad Gable together, which I thought I like that coming out. But mainly it was just Bronson,
he killed this dude. He killed him.
Tearing up and Gable just yelling at Tozawa after the match. But
I don't really have a little league coach dad or like a little league dad,
I think this
like,
game
I taught him that. No, why do you suck?
Right. I think we see this move more into Chad Gable and Bronson Reed after
King of the Ring. Threat. Yeah.
But because I wouldn't be mad. Yeah. We saw a match between Bronson Reed and Otis.
Oh, give me that match.
That's what I'm saying.
Please.
It'd be a powerhouse match, but I think again it'd be more into a like jobber status type of match for Otis and Bronson just absolutely tears Otis apart. I think that helps get into Gable's head for next Saturday.
Right.
Which I'm excited for that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what else I'm excited for?
What are you excited for?
Gunther winning King of the Rings. I think he's going to win it. Him and Kathy Kelly, him and Kaiser were walking backstage. And Kathy Kelly tried to talk to Gunther, but when instead actually talked to Kaiser. And Kaiser was like, what are we doing here? And Jackie was like, well, I want to talk to the future of the King of the Ring tournament with Gunther. And bringing up Elias Pass and then brings up Jimmy Uso, how he kind of costed Jay the IC title match. And basically, Jackie was just bringing up like a bunch of like past shit, like about Sheamus' match interference as well. And Kaiser was like, Gunther does not have to prove himself. I saved Sheamus. And if Sheamus has an issue, I'm going to expose him. I sat there and was like, holy shit.
I think we're getting ready for maybe might see something with Kaiser versus Sheamus potentially with him taking shots at him like that.
Dude, I want to see Kaiser do something crazy, honestly.
Right? I want to see
I
Kaiser
think,
do some stuff because Kaiser's a good wrestler, bro. Honestly,
yeah, and he just
so
plays
I
his
think
character
he could
so
honestly,
well.
yeah. Like I think he's got a good role as Gunther's kind of
Mouthpiece.
mouthpiece slash like henchman fall guy maybe.
Hmm.
But I think eventually it'd be really cool to see him break out on his own and do some
Yeah.
really crazy shit.
Oh yeah, and Jesus, I might have said Kathy. Or Jackie. I might Kathy. But anyways, we're moving to another backstage segment. It's a lot of backstage
This was a
segments. So this
lot.
Raw, this was the heavy backstage
Last
segment, in my
week it was a
opinion.
lot of matches. This week it was a lot of fucking talking.
We saw Jackie Redmond and Adam Pearce, and British Strong Style would actually get a warm welcome from Pearce, be like, "Ho, welcome to Raw. We love having you here." But he would announce at that moment the fatal four-way for the number one contenders for the World Tag Team Championships. It'd be British Strong Style, who are now known as New Catch Republic. Still sucks. Authors of Pain, Judgment Day featuring JD and Finn and the Creed brothers.
Oh yeah. So this kind
And
of confirms what you and me have been talking about for a while. Where like after Balor and Priest have lost their tag gold, now JD and Finn are going to be the tag team for Judgment Day.
I would like that to see that. I would like to see that at some point.
It's
We'll get to that
happening.
match though when we do.
Pretty
But
exciting.
then we saw Braun Breaker walk in again. And basically, we actually saw the real reason why that Pierce didn't put him in, because he didn't want to put Braun in the deep end, but Braun snapped back and was like, they actually would have been in the deep end with me. And I agree to that statement 100%. Braun Breaker is an absolute just monster in the ring. His size may not be like others, like, your Braun Strowman's, your fucking, like your Big Shows or your Omos's or whatever, but he knows how to move around a ring. He knows how to maneuver a ring. He literally moved it at Stand and Deliver before WrestleMania. Like
Straight up, man.
like there was videos all over X and I think
He
Instagram.
scooted it.
It was crazy. But speaking of the tournament, let's move in to round two. Match two, Queen of the Ring. Zoe Stark versus Lyra Valkyria. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was actually rooting for Zoe during this match.
Me too. Holy shit! I wanted Zoe to win this so far. I was honestly rooting for her as a dark horse winner of the tournament.
Really?
But I'm not even lying, bro. Like Zoe's got to do some shit. This was fucking like what the hell?
I was actually okay with the match finish though. Honestly, I really was. Because now we see who is it, EO versus Lyra.
Yeah,
because
I'm
I think
excited for that,
one of the reasons that we stayed away from Shayna versus Zoe was because they're both have a deep MMA background. We don't want to see MMA fighting because we saw that at SummerSlam 2023. Shayna versus Ronda Rousey. It sucked. That match.
Ass.
Sucked.
Hot ass.
With this match, we actually, Lyra would actually be getting the advantage, and they would just both, kind of trade back and forth, which would actually really help Lyra kind of push for the win, because Zoe would actually attempt the Z360, but Lyra would catch it and actually hit the Nightwing for the win.
Pretty cool counter there. It was pretty sad.
Throughout the match, though, we saw Lyra chants. Lyra.
Lyra.
I love all this love for
They even
Lyra.
did her theme has like a weird little like call and response thing in it. I'm not sure. I'm not an NXT watcher. I'm not a long-time Lyra fan. But even like the SmackDown crowd was doing the chant and stuff along with her theme song to during her entrance, which I thought was really interesting. So she's already getting over with the live crowds in that sense, and I think it's really awesome to see.
That's even what
she's
Tiffy said. Tiffy was actually surprised by it because she had said she was really nervous about going over to Perth when Elimination Chamber happened. Mm-hmm. Because she was just new on the roster. She didn't know how fans would react to her, but no, she was in absolute
They loved Tiffany in Perth.
Oh, it's Tiffy time.
It's fucking Tiffy time.
If we see her at SummerSlam, I'd be so happy.
Always Tiffy.
I'd be happy to see her at SummerSlam.
Me too. Oh my god, it'd be fucking crazy.
Who else I would like to see at SummerSlam? Yeet.
Yeet.
He cut a promo himself. Yeet. He basically said Balor got the yeet down. I don't know who he was talking to. I think he's talking to Gunther. He said, "You're gonna get this work too," and Gunther's gonna get this yeet down. And he's basically like, "I want a new crown. Where can I get it? Where can I get it? Where can I get my
Can
hands
I
on
get
it?
it?
Where can I get it?" I mean, shit.
Oh shit.
With where are we at now? I mean, with that, I think, dude. Honestly, I'm excited for this match with Jay and Gunther on Monday. But I just want to see Jimmy make an appearance, like
Oh
before
yeah.
Money in the Bank.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think they're gonna hold out on Jimmy for a while longer.
They're
I think they're
going to.
gonna really draw out this bloodline story until Roman is ready to come back.
Well, Jimmy's got a legitimate injury though.
Right, right.
I don't think it's
So
still. I think it's still disclosed, but no, he has a ruptured
no yeet,
rib
no
cartilage,
yeet,
is
no
what
yeet.
I think is what I'm saying here.
Bro, I don't doubt it after that fucking spear he took off the ramp.
Well, there was that, and also the beatdown from fucking uh Solo and Tama. That was
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, it was.
But
Holy shit.
let's get into Gable again. Barking orders during a
Fucking
match.
Gable.
It'd be Sammy versus Otis. Um, it was basically just Otis getting shit on the entire match. But Otis would go to hit the worm and actually get in trouble for it. Then he stopped, and then Gable turned away, ripped off his shirt, did the worm anyways, which I love.
Yeah.
And it was kind of just a back and forth thing with Otis and Gable. I mean, Otis looked like a monster. He looked good. I liked it. Basically, it was that though. But Gable possibly actually cost Otis the match, according to Michael Cole, by like screaming at him and everything, and making basically was like, "Dude, you can't do the worm." Basically, just yelling at him, and he would actually scream at him and hit him in the face after the match. And Sammy would come to rescue Otis, but this is where I find really interesting. Otis would actually pick up Chad Gable after Sammy would beat the hell out of Gable, and he goes, "I'm sorry." And Gable's like, "This is your fault," and he slapped him again. And we just saw Otis kind of just kept looking back, like, "Do I go with him? Do I not? Do I go with him?" Like we talked about earlier during this. He feels like he has to stay, even though he doesn't want to. Like I don't
Yeah.
think we see him paired with Tozawa anymore. But I see something where we see Otis turn on Gable at some point in time.
Maybe
And
sometime
that's
in
how
the
we see
future.
the Alpha Academy
Yeah.
disband. Then we see the real Alpha
Fucking
Academy
do
2.0.
it!
We see Perk Academy.
I want to see it so bad. Perk Academy,
Uh,
please.
I think we do see that, like we just talked about. I mean,
Damn it. I want it so bad.
speaking of
Want
how
it
we
so
want the Perk
bad.
Academy,
They're
Strowman would
here.
actually give the Creed brothers and Ivan props, and like Braun Strowman kind of gave Ibanal the rub, like, "Oh, hey, like, look at her biceps. She's gonna give me a run for my money." And Braun's like 6 times bigger than she is.
Holy
Braun's
shit.
huge.
Bro, Braun is
Strowman's huge.
insane. It's actually insane how big this dude has gotten.
But again, we would see the goddamn Judgment Day, and JD walked up to Braun and goes, "Judgment Day." Yeah, big ass bobblehead. JD will walk up and be like, "Judgment Day runs Raw, so you better be warned."
Once more.
Runs Raw.
Once more.
I like the.
I'm
like the
excited,
little
bro. I think this
little
match
rub
got
for that.
confirmed for next week, actually. I don't know confirmed actually
What?
or not. I'm just like bullshitting, maybe. But yeah, Strowman's going to eat this dude. And I think potentially this is going to set up, if Priest is able to hold the world title for a while longer, maybe Strowman versus Damian Priest for the world title. I wouldn't be against that, honestly. Put Strowman right back into the main event scene if you're not going to pair him back up with Ricochet and go back in tag team.
We don't know about that whole Ricochet thing just yet. We're about there. We don't know just yet. But
just yet.
Also, we don't know about Becky. We don't know what's going to happen with her at King of the Ring. She had the man had her match against Dakota Kai, who was with Kairi Sane and Io Sky of Damage Control, of course. And Becky would win, obviously, via DQ, you know? Again,
yeah, this
fucking
fucking
Damage Control will get involved. Of course, But I liked the like how we kind of saw Kyrie holding a double-sided sign of King Coda, which is part of her Instagram and Twitter handle. It's I'm King Coda,
Hmm.
and the other side was Damage Control runs Raw, which I thought was pretty interesting, and it helps kind of push Damage Control without Becky or not Becky. What the fuck's her name? Bailey.
Bailey. Oh yeah, I
Um,
agree with you there. This definitely pushes damage control a little bit. I wasn't really happy with them just interfering with the match because
yeah,
nothing really happened during the match, honestly. And but uh, yeah, I wasn't fully into it.
I was not fully in this match, but I did notice a lot of shit. There was a Biff spot where it looked like Dakota was supposed to move, but almost didn't. Like it was like Becky was like gonna like do like the kind of like a splash in a sense where they're like it was like a really like small splash with like a forearm and everything, and like
Hmm.
shit like it should like to stop for a second and then go.
Oh yeah,
And then
I
there
didn't
was
notice any spot like that, but I believe you.
it was
I don't
in
know.
the it was like in the friendly side corner of the tag teams where they would usually stand or whatever.
Yeah, I bet.
But we also did see a Becky have a late kick out, which I thought was also a Biff spot, to be honest. But I don't know. But obviously we'd see again Io and Kyrie attack Becky Lynch. We would see Lyra again save Becky, which I think is gonna push now for Lyra being like, okay, look, now that I've saved you a few times, I think you owe me. I think we do see a world
Ooh,
title
that'd be
shot,
interesting.
but we see Lyra and Io stare off. But as that's happening, and Becky and Lyra will end up standing tall, but as they're like distracted, Liv Morgan would actually attack Becky from behind, literally hit her, drop her. Lyra would chase after her, and Liv was right out the ring immediately. We would see damage control at the top of the ramp, bottom of the ramp was Liv, and in the ring was Lyra and Becky.
Yeah,
This
dude,
whole thing with Becky is going to
Liv's a
go somewhere.
savage. What a bitch.
But my Gunther, Unsiegbar Dragunov,
Oh, the czar.
we saw him backstage with Jackie Redmond, and he's saying that he's going to win King of the Ring. He says it's going to start with me being czar of the ring, and he's
Hell
a
yeah.
different kind of dragon. And him and Gunther have kind of like a long history, and that it's really not over. But which I
Mhm.
did find interesting was Gunther walked up, stood next to Ilya. He smirked and he walked off. Like
Oh
you and I have
yeah.
been talking about, everyone's been wanting to see those two wrestle in the main roster, but it has to be done properly.
Oh yeah. It's been a couple years since they had their last epic match, and Ilya beat Gunther the last time. Since
Mm-hmm.
then, Gunther has gone on a record-breaking Intercontinental title run, and Ilya has dominated NXT as the champion, bro. These are not the same competitors that met all those years ago. I am
No,
so excited
they
to
are
see
not.
these guys clash again on the
Oh,
on fucking WWE main roster, dude. Oh
oh,
my god.
banger after banger. I'm excited for it. Something I also was very excited for that night was the Fatal Four Way match: JD and Finn of Judgment Day versus the Creed Brothers versus New Catch Republic, or in
Uh,
our words, British Strong Style,
yeah.
versus
Fucking
the
hate New Catch
authors of
Republic's
Pain
name.
with the rest of the Final Testament, which I really thought the Final Testament was actually going to get involved, but they didn't really much. Um, Ironically enough, Michael Cole called JD McDonough JD McDonough on the way down the ring, and that's the only thing Pat McAfee has called JD McDonough since.
Oh my god, it's
Um,
awesome.
we saw, uh, New Catch Republic, and we saw Tyler Bay of New Catch Republic and Finn Balor the Judgment Day start, and it looked like that they were gonna run the match for a little while, and they kind of just it was kind of just everyone came in, and we just saw just absolute mayhem throughout the match. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
I
Everyone got
liked it
involved
with
pretty
it.
quick here. It
Oh
was pretty
yeah,
chaotic.
and I mean, we saw British Strong Style hit Balor with a Birmingham hammer, I think is what that is, and they would kick out. Wait, yeah, Balor would kick
Yep.
out by JD pulling Dunn off. I'm trying to read our notes. Sorry, it has not been a day. Um, and we'd see I don't think we saw any double moves again or double moves by New Catch Republic. Honestly, I like how they always do those double moves, like where
Oh
they're
yeah, theirs is
flying
awesome. Their double
over
team
and
offense is
everything.
epic.
It is amazing. Awesome Truth's at ringside. And Pat McAfee goes, "There's dumb, and then there's McDumma." What I did like though was Tyler Bate flipping through the ropes over JD McDonough, and what I found really interesting about the spot was Tyler Bate almost ate the shit out of the announce table.
Oh my
Just
god, dude, he
absolutely
almost ate it.
almost ate the thing.
It was insane,
Um,
bro. His like gut
but
went straight into the edge of it.
we saw, like I said earlier, Carlito said, "You really be surprised people can change their minds. We can be amigos one day." Carlito showed up to help the Judgment Day, which I thought he was going to mess it up. I thought he was going to mess it up. I thought we were just going to absolutely just see Damien go off on Carlito. We didn't
Right.
see that though. We saw it later on in the night. Ricochet actually walked up to Dragunov and showed him respect, and he not walked up. He said on a promo like, "I'm going to show Dragunov respect, but there will be a rematch, and the outcome will be different this time," which led us into our main event of the night: Jey Uso versus Ilya. But before that, I want to talk about what we came back to from commercial was Dom and Damien. First thing I was said. Damien asked about Dom and Rhea and if they were good. Dom was like, "Yeah, we're good." But remember, we've been seeing Liv and Dom kind of, finagling around a little bit. I'm just saying.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
saying. Carlito, Finn, and JD all walked in, and Carlito saw Damien and was like, "All right, look, I'll just leave. It doesn't matter. Obviously I'm not wanted here." But Damien was like, "Hey, Carlito, you know what happened out there? That was cool." And now we see Carlito kind of a part of the Judgment Day, but he goes, "Look, this crew doesn't run with cowards. If you're a coward, you're done."
As Dom sits over there.
Yeah, 100%. Dude is a coward through and through. But like I said, let's go into our main event. Ilya was described as invincible, which is actually what unsiegbar means, and I think it's Russian. And Pat McAfee and Cole were kind of going back and forth on commentary who'd win, and McAfee was like, "Dude, he was talking about Jay. He goes, that's King Yeet right there." Don't like that, honestly.
King Yeet. I love King Yeet.
Basically, they just go 100%. Just get outside the ring, obviously. Which I found interesting, which I liked part of the match was Ilya went to go hit an H-bomb on the announcement table. That looked like it hurt.
Oh yeah, dude, he ate that thing, dude. He just face plants into the fucking table. I'm surprised it didn't break, actually.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, just the match was absolutely phenomenal.
This match was really fun. I really liked the match for the most part.
I mean, we saw an H-bomb, a Constantine special, and a Torpedo Moscow. And just Jay went to go down. I mean, the Torpedo Moscow was obviously caught by a spear. But, I mean, we just absolutely just seen it. I mean, I did notice that Jay's ear was bloody from a kick. He's wearing earrings, but I think this is now going to lead into a safety thing with WWE. They're like, all right, look, just for the safety of you guys now, we cannot have you wearing earrings or anything like that just because we don't want any more further damage. Because, wrestlers have a great past of always making sure they take care of each other.
Right.
But do we think it was a good idea that Ilya lost?
Ilya lost clean to an Uso splash. I wasn't happy about that. I wasn't happy about it at all. I was really, really upset by that. I was hoping we would get something along the lines of Ludwig Kaiser coming out, and he would potentially hit Ilya with a knee or something when the ref wasn't looking, and that would cost Ilya the match.
And that's how we kind of push towards the Gunther and Ilya thing.
Yeah, and then that's how you start foreshadowing Gunther versus Ilya in the future.
I got you.
And but nah, dude, he lost straight up, like just lost clean, which sometimes isn't a bad thing, but this is his second main roster match, and he's just lost fucking clean.
like second or third, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what the actual fuck?
Mm-hmm.
I think that this can just not be a bad thing. Obviously, they can put him into a feud, rehab him a little. Not that he really needs rehab after this. Not that this wasn't like a catastrophic loss or anything.
Right. It was just like,
but it was like, what the hell? Like now you got to do something with Ilya, or he's gonna start losing steam, and that's the
He's gonna-
last thing that we want right now.
especially with him.
Yeah,
But
because Ilya, like, he's got potential to be like one of your future mega stars. Ilya's freaking awesome. He's charismatic and he's a phenomenal wrestler.
agreed. On Thursday though, from the Raw Uncle Howdy QR codes, we did
Yeah.
see a Twitch stream that was aired at 4:00 Eastern time. I watched the entire thing, and I'm gonna just say it now before we get into Uncle Howdy, which will be later in this episode. It was basically another therapy session, dude. But it was really interesting on how they worked it.
Yeah. It was very interesting. Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know if you saw it, but I definitely got to see it. I'll get into that though once we see it more. There was I'm missing a QR code. That's fine.
Yeah.
So, let's move into SmackDown. I mean,
now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into SmackDown.
Let's get right into the news.
Let's get right into the news. We kicked it off right away. We were not holding back, ladies and gentlemen. We moved right into Bianca Belair versus Tiffany Stratton in a round 2 queen, of the Ring tournament. And these two, like the show, bro, they weren't holding back. They went straight after with a fair back and forth to start it off with. Bianca getting fairly, like, just overpowering Tiffany, throwing her into the corner, throwing her all around, with Tiffany quickly getting the counters on her by pulling her braid, being a little fucking crafty heel. You know how it be. We see Bianca's knee constantly getting worked over by Tiffany. I'm sorry, but Bianca's obviously able to just fucking fight back. She hits a beautiful gut buster and a standing moonsault, which does injure her knee a little bit more. You know, outside of the ring, they start fighting and stuff, and we see actually a really interesting spot with Bianca Belair trying to get out of the ring. Tiffany pulls her braid and ends up tying her knee up in the ropes, which injured it, of course, even more. And then, of course, back inside the ring, Bianca just throws her around. She doesn't give a shit. Like, she's got one leg, but who cares? She is the EST. She is the strongest, the fastest, the toughest, the roughest. We all know how it is. She hits a follow-away slam and even attempts a KOD on Tiffany with one good leg, but Tiffany's just too athletic, y'all. Flips out of it. Hits it. She does her little fucking flippy cartwheel thing. Tries to hit that elbow in the corner that she always does. I actually love that move. I don't know about you.
What, Tiffany's what? Wait, hold on.
The cartwheel flippy thing into the corner where she hits an elbow.
I don't think I've seen that. I got to pay attention to her matches more.
Oh, you've definitely seen it. We've talked about it a ton. It's where she does like 5 cartwheels from one corner into the other and hits elbow into the chest.
Yep.
Not to Bianca. Bianca catches it, hits her with a great freaking German. I freaking loved it for a great near fall as well. We see Tiffany get back up though. She grabs the ring apron as Bianca tries to pull her into the center of the ring, presumably for a new move. Distracts the referee as he's like, let go of the ring. Apron? What are you doing? What are you doing? You're dragging into the ring and shit like that. This distracts him. Lets Tiffany rake the eyes, bro. You know, she hits the knee, hits a sliding clothesline, but, you know, this is the EST. She doesn't give a fuck. After attempting a world's prettiest moonsault, Bianca just, you know, shoves her off the fucking ropes. It hits a KOD for the 1, 2, 3, and Bianca Belair moves on in the Queen of the Ring tournament.
It's Tiffy time, couldn't do it, dude.
Tiffy time wasn't time for Tiffy time tonight, but
it was not time for Tiffy time.
It's okay. I was pretty disappointed by it.
Did you hear about what's going on with her?
No, I have not. I heard something happened on Instagram or some shit like that.
So she posted a video on Instagram that had got sent to her, and obviously she's like, "Oh, like I don't think she," because a lot of people don't listen to their videos without sound, or a lot of people do listen to videos without sound, and so all she saw was like the edit of it, but I don't think she heard it, and the edit of it goes. Because it was the thing was edited and like she hit off like Jade Cargill off the apron and it said "you black bitch." I was like,
uh-oh.
That's what I was thinking. I was really confused about that, but then everything actually had gotten cleared up with Tiffany, and she was basically like, she's basically in the clear. Like she's not in any trouble, obviously, because they know it wasn't her, and she's like, look, it wasn't me. I can't, and then she's provided all the proof that she can, basically.
Right.
But I'm kind of curious to see if we do see we do see some trouble with her in the future, because this is all just happening like literally in real time. Like I think as of the last like 2 days.
I would hope not. We
Agreed.
obviously love Tiffany here. Hopefully
It's Tiffy
nothing bad happens to
time.
her. But
I would love to keep Tiffany in the future, but I mean,
yeah, of course.
you can't control whatever happens to people, man. It's
No.
crazy.
But that moves us into after the match. Kathy Kelly gets into the ring to ask Bianca Belair about her future in the Queen of the Ring tournament, where Bianca says she may not be 100%, but she's still gonna win it. Which at this point, she might be my new favorite for the tournament. I'm not gonna lie, as the card stands.
I mean, I think for up until this night, I think my favorite was honestly, to be honest, I hate to say it, it was Jade Cargill. To be
It
honest,
was, yeah. Oh,
it
we'll
was
get
Jade.
there. That was fucking sad. But this does move us backstage where Logan Paul was seen walking to Nick Aldis's office. Right as he opens the door, who walks out but the megastar L.A. Knight? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He's seen walking out, and he walks by Logan. He stares down. Logan turns around, and these two just stare at each other until Aldis separates them. I want to know, bro, when are we getting Logan Paul versus LA Knight? Because this has been teased so much.
SummerSlam.
So, oh my
I'm seeing a lot of people talk
God, yeah.
lot of talk around SummerSlam right now with
Dude, I
these two.
wish. It'd be
Honestly,
insane.
one, it'd be great for us because we'd see it live. But here's the
Right.
thing: Paul now loses his belt in the hometown. Which now could push him into a bigger title scene, like the IC or maybe the he's on SmackDown, the WWE title scene now. But we could also see this with LA Knight. If LA Knight wins this, we see now him finally holding his first singles title. We see how he does with the championship, and then that's how that's basically this is how he's proving that he's the man.
Come on. Yeah.
Because like LA Knight's already gotten over, like yeah, but I mean I think to push him just a little bit farther, like you and I have been talking, give him the United States, do not give him any world title, give him a mid card, let him kind of work with it, see what happens, and go from there.
Oh yeah, dude. I'd love to see it. I just want to see LA Knight get a fucking belt.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want to see a tag team. I want to see a singles
give
on
him the
him.
belt and have him beat everybody.
That's what I'm saying. I'd book it as LA Knight beating Logan Paul.
I would too. Bro, speaking of somebody who needs to beat everybody backstage, Jade Cargill was seen talking with Byron Saxton, who asks her what she thinks of her opponent later on tonight, Nia Jax, to which she says Nia Jax might be a powerful wrestler. She might be the irresistible force, but to Jade, she's just in her way, you know?
Bro,
Jade
Nia Jax
Cargill,
is not
she's just a different
irresistible.
kind
She
of
is
beast.
resistible.
She's
That
very,
woman is
very
resistible.
resistible. Very, very resistible. But in walks Bianca Belair. No shot right there, no shot. But in walks Bianca Belair post match, and Jade asks her. It was kind of a sneaky little tease where maybe it could be seen as Jade poking around to see if her potential future opponent was still injured. She asks Bianca how her knee's doing, to which Bianca says, "Oh, I'll be just fine in case I have to wrestle you next week," to Jade, in which they both kind of just smile and walk away from the stand there, bro. That match, when it eventually happens, is gonna be nuts. They've got so many dream matches lined up right now,
Oh
WWE.
god, yeah. Their talent is insane, man.
Absolutely insane. They've got megastars lined up back to back to back to face each other, and all of them are set to be like actually insane.
I definitely agree to that.
Right.
I did notice though. I was watching a video today, and there was actually like movement behind these two with the lighting, and people were thinking that it could be like an Uncle Howdy kind of deal. Maybe, I mean, maybe, but it also could be like with the arenas. There's obviously loading docks and everything as well, so it could have been that. But there is no, we don't know.
It could be. That's a huge potential, bro. If they
I mean,
start like showcasing Uncle Howdy everywhere throughout the show and pitch it as like he's starting to take over the entirety of WWE like that, it'd be so cool.
or the Fireflies. The Fireflies are going crazy right now.
Yeah, bro. You know who else is going crazy right now? Fucking
Who?
Tama Tonga. We cut back,
That dude's
dude. We cut to the
psycho.
Bloodlines backstage, and I kid you not, this dude is just back. He's pacing back and forth. Those are the noises this guy was making, just walking back and forth. It was fucking insane. He's literally snarling, growling. But we see, of course, the Bloodline all as a whole, and Paul stands up and asks Solo. Of course, he's looking terrified as shit, like he's about to get his head ripped off. He looks at Solo, rocking a new fresh cut, by the way. I'm kind of digging it.
Bro, it looks like the Weeknd.
He does look like the Weeknd. You can't even lie. Looks like he's wearing his dad's suit.
That's what I'm saying.
But Paul asks Solo if he talked to Roman recently, to which Solo just looks at Paul, smiles, and he goes, "All the time, wise man. All the time." And then the Bloodline starts moving out to the ring, which I don't know if that's true, Solo. Have you been talking to Tribal Chief?
That's what I was thinking. I was like, what if Solo's just saying all of this shit just so he could have Tribal Chief?
I think that's exactly
because he was the tribal heir
happen.
when Roman leaves. But what if Roman's like still? It's like Roman's still our tribal chief, but he hasn't given it to Solo yet, and now Solo is the poser.
I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I think Roman's going to come back and be like, "Man, what the hell are you talking about? I put you in charge. What?
Since when?
Since when?"
I think at that point, though, we'll see something with the draft be brought up. And then once Roman comes back, now Roman is a free agent. And now I think, I don't know, man. Because Jimmy's also an FA, too. Jimmy's also a free agent, too.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think we're definitely getting
I don't know. We'll definitely get into more of that when they return and do their thing.
But this moves us into another backstage interview, but you know, WWE's favorite thing to do anymore, with Kathy Kelly and LA Knight. Yeah, but this didn't go long before Carmelo Hayes walks into frame and basically says, "LA Knight, you need to welcome me to Friday Night SmackDown. I was a first round draft pick. You need to look at me. You need to appreciate me. You need to know how important I am, and you need to realize that after tonight, the most important letters in WWE aren't going to be RKO. They will be HIM," which I thought was a pretty good line. Mellow don't miss. But of course, you can't out-talk LA Knight. LA Knight's one of the best talkers in the game, I think we got right now. So this dude, oh, I love him. He goes, "Good job. You want a spelling bee?" Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody will remember you, he says. Because, you know, LA Knight's kind of like Tom Brady, he says. He gets compared to him a lot. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know LA Knight. I don't know Tom Brady. But he goes on to say that he is like Tom Brady, and Melo is like every first-round draft pick that Tom Brady was involved in when he got drafted. Because nobody remembers the first-round draft picks of the years Brady was drafted either. Yeah.
It was 1999 or 2000 when he was drafted.
We love it. Oh, man. I think this is definitely going to be setting up a potential feud between these two. Maybe just a match, maybe an actual feud, but this would be definitely fun. A really fun clash of personalities here.
Right.
But this did move us into LA Knight, versus Tama Tonga of the Bloodline. Round 2 of King of the Ring. Dude, what do you think of Tama's entrance? He's got this whole fire pillar thing going on with the war drums and stuff. Have you seen it recently?
Yes, it's badass.
Dude, I'm freaking liking it. I don't like how he keeps snarling and growling like and that shit. I don't like it.
Right.
Because I would like him to be more, I don't know, maybe a little bit more composed, I guess. But I guess his brother Tonga is kind of covering that end of it. But
I think this also does push this Tama Tonga character, dude, with him snarling and shit. Like, he's just a fucking psycho. He's a psychopath.
Fucking animal.
That's what I'm saying.
He's like an animal too, bro. As soon as the match, or as soon as the bell rings, the match starts, Tama just runs at LA Knight, just full steam, full on at him. But LA Knight's too quick. He dodges it, gets in a couple of those good hits, Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everyone hitting the yeahs as he punches him, but Tama was able to quickly get him into a sleeper hold right at the beginning of the match, which, like, why the fuck are you doing a sleeper right as the match starts? What the fuck? Get into it. They got into it pretty quick,
Right.
though. He hit a wicked clothesline, almost taking LA Knight's head clean freaking off, but LA Knight was able to get right back into it with the yeah kicks in the corner. But as LA Knight was getting his full head of steam, here come the Bloodline, of course. They get on the ring apron to distract the referee and let Tama Tonga take control of the match. That was until he misses, a top rope splash and face plants into the damn apron and gets thrown outside by LA Knight, who just freaking bounces his head off the damn freaking ring apron and shit. And of course, LA Knight starts bleeding from the shoulder and shit. And if they're all fighting and shit, tries to go for a BFT but misses, pulls him outside of the ring. He attempts to, or no, I'm sorry, LA Knight hits a drop kick outside of the ring to Tonga and ends up staring off with the rest of the Bloodline, especially with Solo, which I thought was very cool. Where I think we might be hyping up the LA Knight versus the Bloodline feud again, but this time Solo is the head of it. But back inside the ring, LA Knight gets hit with a weird ass facebuster kind of move. I've seen it 1,000 times from fucking somebody. I can't remember the name of it. But Tama hits it, which I assume is going to be his new finisher in WWE for the win, and moves him into the semifinals of the King of the Ring tournament.
Okay.
Pretty interesting that we're having LA Knight lose after being on a fucking house show. But I understand, of course, we got to push Tama Tonga. I'm excited to see where this little dog dude goes.
So you know how there was that backstage segment before the match with Mello, right? Like we just talked about it.
Yeah,
LA Knight. What if that's LA Knight's first opponent when he wins a singles title?
I love it. It would be very
Honestly,
interesting.
I could see it.
Of course, we did see them backstage after this match. LA Knight passed by Mello in the middle of another backstage interview with Kathy Kelly, I'm pretty sure, where they ended up shoving each other a little bit and then get separated by security. I think you're onto something there with that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I think
I would love to see
after LA
that.
Knight eventually does win a singles title, he'll Mello could be a great feud for him. Mello's him, bro. Put him in fucking any feud. I'm ready to see Mello take off into the stratosphere.
I was really upset how they did him and Trick's feud.
I didn't get to see a whole lot of that. I'm not an NXT watcher.
There wasn't anything. It was just Mello would attack Trick here and there, and that was it. There was nothing like crazy from it. There was no like other outcome. And now Trick has the title. Ilya and Mello are up on the main roster. So I mean, I would have loved to see Trick and Mello bring their feud maybe up to the main roster, but
I think that'll eventually happen when Trick gets called up.
Kind of waited. Yeah. And then they kind of fucked it up in NXT.
Potentially. I think they may have also fucked up the main event of King of the Ring. Not gonna lie. We moved next on to Cody Rhodes and Logan Paul. What is being promoted as a champion versus champion contract signing. This was a bit of a long segment, a very, very interesting segment. I'm not totally sure how I feel about it, but Cody Rhodes started us off, of course, with mic in hand saying 32 years ago on these grounds, on this day, 1992, there was War Games, the Stinger Squadron versus the Killer Alliance. And Cody Rhodes says, do you know how he knows this? It's because he's a pro wrestling fan. He's a fan of professional wrestling. And you know who isn't a fan of professional wrestling? Logan Paul. You know, we could describe Logan Paul as basically just a tourist. He's just passing through, not giving a shit, saying, fuck you. You know, he's a tourist.
That's what's happening.
Right, he's just passing by. Says it's time for Logan to get off the train and leave the United States Championship so that he can be a Grand Slam champion. But Logan Paul, he didn't take too kindly to that, obviously. He said, Cody, who gives a shit? Like, I've heard it all before. We've all everyone said that about me. Everyone said that I'm just a chump. Everyone says that I'm just passing by. But now it's time for me to prove it. He then picks up the contract, but instead of signing it, He just rips it up. So, bro.
Yeah, I noticed that. I seen that on social media. I was confused.
Best crowd chant of the night began, which is just, he can't read. He can't read. He can't read. It was pretty funny. But Logan Paul says he can read, and he had his lawyer. He mentioned his lawyer's name. I can't remember the fucking name of it, obviously. It's not important. But his lawyer drafted up a new contract, and Logan Paul essentially says that he agreed to fight Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. He did not agree to put the US title on the line. So essentially, this new contract now, he ripped up the original one. So this new contract is just for the WWE Championship, not for the United States Championship, which I think is very important to remember. But Nick Aldis kind of blew up on him after this, and it kind of, bro, low key, it looked like Nick Aldis was going to fight the lawyer. Would have loved to see Nick Aldis throw hands with the lawyer. But Cody Rhodes sends Nick Aldis to the back, saying, I got this. Let me handle this. I'll bring the paperwork by your office later. Logan Paul wasn't hesitating, though. He gets right into Cody's face, gets right up, throws the contract at him, and he says, like my brother, Jake Paul's opponent next week would say, sign the contract, big boy. Saying it just like Mike Tyson, which was hilarious. It says, yeah, it was pretty fucking funny throwing that kind of reference out there. But Cody
Mike
says,
beats him.
Bro, that fight's gonna be insane. I'm gonna renew my Netflix fucking subscription just so I can watch it. Oh my god. But Cody just says the honeymoon for Logan is over, because at King of the Ring, he will find out exactly who Logan Paul is. And he's glad that Logan brought up Mike Tyson, actually, because in 8 days, a WWE Hall of Famer is going to knock Logan's brother out. And in Saudi Arabia, a future WWE Hall of Famer is going to beat him. Cody then signs the contract, presumably the contract that is only for the WWE Championship and not for the United States Championship as well. And then power bombs one of Logan's guys through the table after they all get into a big scuffle. But that's not the important part. I want to know what you think about this whole no longer for the U.S. title situation.
I'm okay with it as long as Cody wins. You put that title on Logan, I promise you, I will stop watching this as so fast.
Me too, but I'm not excited for
I'd rather have Cody win it.
Title for title. That's fucking annoying. That just feels like a cop out.
It is extremely annoying. It is, and I agree to that. I think they should have done something with that, because it would have made the match and the product that PLE is so much better. But I mean, the PLE is only 8 days away, or now 7.
Right. Of course, I understand wanting to keep the title on Paul so that somebody else, like an LA Knight, can beat him or something like that. But dude, why even do the match at that point then? What the fuck?
It would make it so much better. But I think it helped part of it. I think part of this is the backlash from the whole LA. There's a movement on X right now. I don't know if it's moved over to Instagram, but it's "We want LA Knight. We want LA Knight." That is it.
We want LA Knight.
Yes. We want LA Knight. Yeah. That's. I mean, yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've definitely retweeted it a few times.
Bro, I would too.
And tweeted it.
Bro, it's annoying. But bro, agreed. Actually, you know what? I'm not even fully moving on, because something else on this show annoyed me. Next we see Kathy Kelly and Nia Jax backstage interview with her. She says Jade Cargill is not gonna be the next queen of the ring. Sorry, I keep messing that up. Nia Jax will be, but man, what the fuck is this? This just fucking made me mad. So the dream match of a lifetime starts next, y'all. Jade Cargill versus Nia freaking Jax. I was pumped for this match. I was unbelievably excited for this match, and it went less than 3 minutes. We had at the beginning Nia basically just shoving Jade around. She hit her with a pretty good right hand and a clothesline to knock her down in the beginning. Jade, of course, gets up and slams Nia Jax, who rolls out of the ring, and then throws Jade across the floor into the apron, basically, where we hear a little girl screaming, "Mommy!" This turned out to be Jade's daughter in the front row, where Nia was just whooping Jade in front of her. Nia gets right into her daughter's face and screams, "Your mom sucks!" Oh, fucking hilarious. I love Nia's character. But
Nia's a bitch.
then we
She does
see
it very
these two
well.
just keep brawling. Nia throws Jade into the timekeeper's area where Nia eventually grabs a steel chair, goes to hit Jade. Jade steals it, thwacks. I think Jade forgot that she's not in AEW anymore and straight up clocks Nia over the head with a steel chair for the disqualification.
I do the same thing.
Yeah, bro.
But I think
But
I'm
I was so disappointed by it because now Nia wins
no,
by a disqualification.
yeah. And Nia's that's the only thing she's been causing is disqualification through recently.
Kind of, yeah. But what are your thoughts on? I mean, I don't want to call it a bait and switch because it really wasn't. They did brawl afterwards, and the crowd even thought it was bullshit. They were screaming bullshit, chanting bullshit at it because honestly, it kind of was.
Yeah, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. 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 Oh man,
Fucking hey, man.
they needed to do
Wasn't
something with
happy
all this
about it.
fucking.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you. But this moved us into a tag match. It's kind of a random tag match, not gonna lie. DIY versus Legado del Fantasma with the WWE Tag Team Champions, A-Town Down Under on commentary. And this was just a quick, fun match, you know? Started off with a quick offense, Gargano, and I can't remember one of the dudes. I can never remember the two dudes' names in Del Fantasma. But
Angel and Umberto.
DIY. Yeah, I can't remember. I can never remember which is which though. But the start DIY hit their double suicide dive outside of the ring, hit their little shoulder clap thing on the apron. You know, A-Town Down Under wasn't too impressed by it. Legado del Fantasma tried to get back into it with some double teams on Ciampa before Gargano got the hot tag and took everybody out before Santos and Elektra Lopez got onto the ring apron and actually kind of costed their team the match here, where as Santos distracted the referee, Lopez shoved Gargano off of the top rope and into the ring, but the referee saw it and he kicked both of them out of the ringside area, which distracted Legado del Fantasma and let DIY hit the meat in the middle for the win. And this presumably sets up DIY as number one contenders for A-Town Down Under's titles, potentially.
Hopefully, they need it. And like I said, you and I, or like I mentioned, we seen something at WrestleMania that could have hinted at that.
Mm-hmm.
During that six-pack ladder match.
During this match, yeah, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but
no, yeah.
During the match, we also saw an Uncle Howdy teaser as well, which, just like on Raw, Cole and Pat talked about it. Corey and Wade also brought it up.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interessante.
Interesting.
I mean,
even Corey drops the line that it just seems to remember what happened the last time QR codes started showing up. Definitely, I think that's just all but confirmation that this is a Wyatt connected faction.
Oh yeah. Okay.
All loosely connects to Wyatt in the end of it, with Bo Dallas, obviously.
Of course, and I mean, I think we'll see something because I believe. To be honest, I believe
in AJ Styles, who was seen backstage with Byron Saxton, and he goes, dude, AJ is so weird. He goes, I'm going to go talk to Nick Aldis about what's next for my future in 7 days. Bro, go to his office just now.
Yeah, for real. Bro is just bro's AJ, he's got nowhere to go right now because everything else there's so much more bigger names around him that his name isn't going anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Which I don't think is fair. AJ is literally one of the GOATs. He's fucking awesome. He literally is, I think, honestly changed the modern wrestling landscape.
Oh, he has 100%. I mean, we just saw him and Cody at Backlash. That was a phenomenal match. Like phenomenal. We see. I mean, some of his work in TNA and overseas is just amazing. Like he's
Mhm.
an all around really good wrestler.
He is. He can do a whole lot more. He's got a little bit left in the tank too.
Agreed.
But
He wants to have one more
backstage
big run before
next,
he leaves.
I agree with you. I would love to see it. But yeah, backstage next off, we see Bailey talking. I think it was a backstage interview or something. But Piper Niven and Chelsea Green walk up, and I don't know who made the challenge, but Bailey basically said, or who accepted the challenge, sorry, but Bailey basically said, I'll see you in a match next week. And they both kind of smiled at her, which personally, I would love to see Chelsea Green start to be next title contender for Bailey. I want to see that feud.
Chelsea Green.
Chelsea Green.
I missed that last Friday. I was like, oh man. Yeah, I
Right.
just miss hearing like Samantha Irvin like adding that extra kick to their names.
Right.
Oh
That
man.
was awesome. But yeah, definitely want to see
Agreed.
Chelsea versus Bailey. But without further ado, this moves us into our main event, round 2, King of the Ring. The Viper Randy Orton versus Carmelo Hayes. Him.
You don't miss.
You don't miss, bro. This match started off pretty spicy with Melo disrespecting Orton, kind of just palming him in the back of the head and shoving him down. Dude, Randy gets up and just wrecks this fool. Like, it was pretty obvious. I didn't realize how much bigger than Melo Randy freaking was until
Yeah,
I see
Randy's
Randy
huge.
grab him and just throw him into the corner like a child.
Brock Lesnar part 2.
Bro, I'm not even kidding. He's so much bigger than him. He saw him. He's throwing him around the ring, just beating the shit out of him. He tries to hit the power dump onto the announcer's table that he always hits, but Mello was able to actually reverse it into a bulldog, throwing Randy's face into the announcer's table and landing on his feet. Freaking Mello got freaking agility, but we all know Randy.
Melo's
He don't
very
tolerate that
agile.
shit. Randy just grabs
No,
him and does it anyway. Randy don't give no fucks.
of course. He gives no
Of course,
fucks.
no Fox. Last week we saw Randy get hurt though. Saw his knee get injured, which Mello of course starts targeting. He even was able to scout Randy's power slam, which he tried to go for. Ended up actually hurting his knee when he went for it. He started selling it a little bit, and Mello actually went for a punt. He tried to punt Randy right in the head like Randy always does, but the Viper's just too slippery and gets him in that power slam anyway. Mello, of course,
Damn.
keeps targeting that knee, hits a first 48. He attempts the nothing but net, but Randy's able to get out of the way. Randy's just a veteran. He can scout that shit from a mile away.
Of
Mello,
course.
though, tries to go for a cool springboard, assumedly like the same springboard move he tried on Cody Rhodes a couple weeks ago. Randy, though, oh, we all know Randy. He loves a springboard because he hit an RKO from out of nowhere for the 1, 2,
Oh
3.
my
This
god.
was just a fun freaking match. I loved it. Mello got a huge. I don't think Mello lost anything by losing to Randy Orton either.
I don't think he did. I mean, Melo, he hasn't really been on a hot streak lately because I mean he's faced 2 members of Legacy. He'll face the third one in jail if Melo ends up going to jail. But I think this will help Melo more because he's faced 2 vets now, and he obviously shows he can run with the big dogs. He's very good at what he does.
Mm-hmm.
Very good at what he does.
Oh yeah,
I
bro,
think
he
we'll
is.
see something with Melo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Of course, after
sorry.
the match though, we had Randy Orton try to get interviewed. He literally didn't even get a word out before the war drums started playing of Tama Tonga's music. The bloodline comes back out onto the stage. Randy wasn't waiting around for him. He goes, "What are you going to do? You're going to beat me up? You're going to fight me? What are you going to do? Next week in Saudi Arabia on SmackDown, I'm going to kick Tama's ass."
I
And the
forgot that they're
match is
recording
set for
in
next
Saudi.
week.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited for next Friday SmackDown. I'm also
Oh, yeah.
excited for King of the Ring. I really hope we end up actually getting Randy versus Gunther instead of Jay versus Tama.
Oh, my gosh. Randy
Because,
versus Gunther. Oh, it'd be awesome.
but I wouldn't be upset if we saw Jay versus Tama because Tama and Randy obviously have that history, but also Gunther and Jay do. But Jay almost beat Gunther without interference.
He
And then
did.
Jimmy
He
came in and
really
started
almost
ringing the
did.
bell. So
I
I think we
really
do
think
see.
there's a sleeper that everyone's missing out on, though, that no one's talking about. I
Who?
think Gunther versus Tama would go insano mode. I
Amen.
for real think those two would beat 7 bells out of each other.
They go at it. Honestly,
God damn, they would go at it. Because Tama's used to wrestling the New Japan style, which is all stiff and all hard hitting and shit like that. And that's just how Gunther wrestles no matter what.
yeah. Gunther's very good at what he does in his job.
Man, I'd love to see it.
I will say that.
I think they're really sleep. I think it's more likely that we see Randy Orton versus Gunther in the finals, but I really think we're sleeping on the potential of Tama versus Gunther here.
Agreed.
But
I don't
I
know.
think that wraps it up for Friday Night SmackDown. You want to move into Uncle Howdy? We had a lot this week.
I got to remember who you are.
Had a fucking
So
lot of it.
this was pretty interesting. I'm going to lead with this. No, I'm not. I lied. I'm not leading with that. So Raw, the QR code, was pretty interesting. It was 1-2. No. The QR code popped up. I forgot where it popped up. I forgot where it popped up. Whatever. But it was the URL was 1-2-1-2-1-2, and if you look that up, it was Eric Rowan's debut with Bray Wyatt on NXT, which actually helped form the Wyatt family, as we now know. But there was someone else, I forget who it was, but they also thought about it as AB, 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 which is kind of a hint at Alexa Bliss, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Oh, I think so.
But we need to pay attention to Monday Night Raw on when it airs. Hidden somewhere, we could see next week's Raw date, which is kind of weird. But how it reads is /F/all/2024//05/20 -17740. I don't know what any else that means, but I just find it pretty interesting that we see Raw's date there. But this is where we get into the meat and bones of it. The QR code brought you to a list of images, 20 different images. And there was something at the top of the screen that said /door/ which I will get to when we get there. There's 20 images. There's a smiley face,
A ton of
which
them.
is kind of it's kind of a reference towards Joe Gacy with his yellow and black mask he used to run. So, and this is where everything gets pretty interesting. So we see a bunch of all these photos have writing on them. The second through I think it's I don't know when, but second one starts out. It says, "Do you want to meet them?" Third, "I set them free," which also had a smiley face. The fourth was, "I reminded him of who he was. I showed him his lies. Now he shows me his vision. It is beautiful." Next one is, "I have always been." Then we saw a drawing of Nightbird, but if you look very closely into the bird, there was a number 21 seen in the bird, which I'll get back to that. They were trapped. I showed them how to open the door. They were left all alone. I opened the door. Now they're not alone anymore. Do you understand? They were left alone from the "Do you understand?" like I just said, was actually another thing. There was a note below that said, "Can you keep a secret?" And there was something that Bray had said in his Firefly Funhouse, but I forgot what it looked like. I forgot what it was.
He said something
The
like
ninth
that. I remember
goes.
him saying something like that. I remember.
The ninth photo showed, "If you have to ask what you aren't seeing, then you aren't looking." Tried a smiley face. The note below said, "Do you want to meet them?" But if you look, these are all throughout the photo as well. These are separate things that are hidden in the photo. If you look though, there was a whitish, blondish hair kind of seen in the bottom corner. People are speculating it's Alexa Bliss. I'm kind of speculating, to be honest, it's Liv Morgan, because Liv has been seen with that kind of silver-ish hair and the blonde, obviously. But I think it's closer to Liv personally. Then we move to the 10th photo. "You don't see it, do you? What do you want to know? I am all of us. Do you see I am already free? How are you doing?" And then in parentheses there was, "I crawled out of the cave so I could set them free." Oh, wait, hold on. No, I lied. So 10 through 13 was, "You don't see it, do you? What do you want to know?" 12 is, "I am all of us." 13 is, "Do you see I am already free?" Had a smiley face on it again. Now there was a series of questions. There's a little question. There was a Q&A. First question was, how are you doing? The first answer was, I crawled out of a cave so I could set them free. What are your goals? To remind them. What challenges are you facing? I'm afraid they won't understand. How do you feel? I finally know my purpose, and soon everyone will see. And then the last few photos, we saw Pluto symbols everywhere. The top part of the mirror, which if you look very closely, apparently there's like a number 8 written in green marker. Then in the white and black notebook that we saw that had like trees on it and everything with the red dots, there was a number 18 in one of the trees on the book. Then the 18th picture was a news article about a woman missing named Wendy Lucho, or a woman missing by Wendy Lucho. But if you rearrange the letters, it's an anagram for Uncle Howdy.
Oh shit!
And the picture of the woman is the same one from the Fiend therapy video. But if you mess with the lighting a little bit, you get an article. It's like an LA Times article. It says "Dreams slowly rising visible." I think is what it read. I couldn't tell. It was hard to read out because it was between a bunch of words. But 19 was a silhouette of something, and if you messed with it, you got like that lighting on it. You got a mask. And then for the 20th, you got a floppy disk and a hard drive. The floppy disk read 5/16, 4 p.m. And there was a plus, and on the other side of the labeling was which. People were thinking it was Twitch, which it was. Going back to the door reference, that was our door to this now therapy session that we saw on screen. It was an hour-long therapy session on Twitch. But throughout the thing, it was pretty interesting because we kept seeing things we already knew. Repeated QR codes, but there was one new QR code I still have yet to look at. I think it's already been announced and everything. But I thought it was a pretty interesting Twitch stream, to say the least, because everything just kept glitching, and then at some point the therapist just dipped, like she was gone, and then all of a sudden we see her come back and we're like, oh shit, okay, we're good. And then we continue it. But going back to the Raw, Centerman was found in the source code. I looked, I couldn't find anything. But going back with those numbers I mentioned earlier, and the 6 drawing of the Nightbird, the number 6 drawing of the Nightbird, 21. Top part of the mirror, number 8, and then right after that was number 18. If you put that as a date, that's when the Bludgeon Brothers lost the SmackDown tag titles to the New Day. And then we saw a hidden tag of 1_17_1984, which, if I'm not mistaken, that was Dexter Loomis's birthday. And then it was 21_1989 was, I think, Joe Gacy or Nikki Cross's birthday. There was 11/22/1984. Again, one of those two. And then 8/8/1987. No, 1984. The 11/22 was Eric Rowan. 117 was Dexter Loomis. 21_1989 was, I want to say, Joe Gacy. And then there was 8/8/1987, which was Nikki Cross. And we see these repeated again. But which I found really interesting was 8/8/1970. In there as well, because it didn't match up with what it should have matched up with 8/8/1987.
Right.
They're it's interesting that we see the 1970 in there. But I just watched a video before we recorded this. There's a mysterious figure seen in the crowd during Raw during Drew's entrance. So people were thinking it was like security, like people were like, oh, it could be just da-da-da-da, because people were just walking past it, this, that, and the other. And so people were like, okay, maybe it's just a security guard. But it was actually shown in the SmackDown video when we get to there. But there was, on Raw, someone in a sheet mask and like overalls was holding up a sign. We didn't see what the sign was because the back was turned. But during SmackDown, Nightbird, the song keeps playing during commercials, comes obviously more static over the weeks. But there was new footsteps, which I found interesting. Like I had to turn up my headset to listen to that. But then when you talked about the Byron and Jade Cargill thing, like I said, the lighting had shadows and people were apparently seeing or whatever. But now this is where I like probably my favorite part of the meat and bones of this whole thing. We saw fans dressed as Abby the Witch, the Fiend, and Muscle Man Beret, which I thought was pretty cool. There was someone with a sign. The Fiend guy who was dressed up as him was, "This is my Fiend tribute," which I thought was pretty cool. But then we see there was a mysterious figure that flashed. But the QRL I don't know about the mysterious figure, to be honest. I didn't watch SmackDown. I was out busy, which I'm happy you did, and I appreciate that 100%. But the URL this time read 22423, which my mind first was together. Wait, today, tomorrow, forever. Because I know some people get that as like a tattoo, 224. But I didn't. I was thinking. I didn't think about 23. That was actually the final episode of the Firefly Funhouse, and that's when Uncle Howdy gave us a weather report. So I think this is kind of hinting like, okay, now this is really Uncle Howdy. Like, yes, we know this. So, but the video itself, we saw Pluto's symbol surrounding a child dressed up as like a skeleton for Halloween, I presume. But it just kept getting closer and closer and closer and closer to the child. And then we would see a date, 4/17/14. And it was Bo Dallas's Are You Believer promo. And that people's interpretation of impossible is actually wrong. And it should be like the interpretation should say, I'm possible. Like anything is possible, basically, is what it's saying. But if you scroll down, we saw a hidden image of Waylon Mercy, who Bray was inspired by. Bray had his character, Bray Wyatt, was inspired by Waylon Mercy, which I thought was awesome. He just pulled it off so much better because I think Waylon Mercy was 100% ahead of his time.
Yeah.
But
also might explain why Mercy the Buzzard is named Mercy.
Exactly. That's exactly why it is. But we saw a picture of Sister Abigail. If you actually inverted the photo, you would see something. I don't know what it was because I couldn't make it out on screen, but there was words or something, and I was like, "Ooh, that's interesting." So I'm gonna go back and look at it later. But we also saw the Wyatt railing in that same video of when the Wyatt family debuted on Raw. Again, another thing to look forward to. And then again, we have our hidden words, which I'm presuming this is the hidden word, veiled Druid. It's VEILEDROD. DROOD. I am just having a horrible day today. Found on the page. A rood is actually a cross or crucifix symbolizing the cross on which Jesus died, of course. But could this also be a reference to Nikki Cross?
I think it could be. That would definitely make sense.
Which I think is pretty interesting. Then Rood, ROOD, backwards is door. And with it being veiled, it could have been Bray's door that we seen when he had all that shit around and everything. There was light coming in from the door, like in the seams and everything. The part of SmackDown therapy session was shown from Twitch, which I thought was pretty cool. Which would bring the fans who didn't watch it, bring, like, hey, if something did happen, just to, keep you in the loop or whatever. But hidden in the source code was JG with a heart, which a lot of people are actually thinking it's a tribute to Jody Gilly, who is a massive, massive Firefly in the wrestling community, and she absolutely loved it. And she was a close friend with C Wrestling UK, which again, who I get some of my ideas from. But now we're seeing some speculation that it could be Joe Gacy as well, because again, JG.
Potentially.
But I mean, again, in the video, we've seen the mysterious figure. We've seen that hacked Raw, or not Raw, but the Twitch stream, which I thought was weird. And because I didn't actually pay attention to it, but the hands were moving and everything, symbolizing it's a person. So I thought that was pretty cool. But my question is, are we missing anything in the obvious? Because again, like I mentioned, there was someone in the crowd. I mean, are we missing, is it just right in front of us and all these QR codes are kind of just to take us away from what we are actually looking for? And it's kind of like a little side quest away from the main quest? Or
that'd be very interesting to see something like that.
I would be too.
No idea, but this is fucking dope as shit. Like all this Uncle Howdy teasers and stuff.
I think the big question is with this whole thing is who and what brand are they going to be a part of, and who are they going to go after first?
Exactly. That's like the big question for me at this point.
Because
like at this point, like they have essentially confirmed that it's related to Bray Wyatt.
Right.
All but confirmed that it's related to Bray Wyatt, that Bo Dallas is going to be involved in it, that Alexa Bliss and all these characters are going to be in it. and it's apparently they're hyping up like this Raw date. I think next week's Raw tomorrow, or
Yeah.
the 20th. But so maybe we see them show up there. Maybe we see a member show up there. Maybe we see Uncle Howdy say something there, or maybe it's at King and Queen of the Ring where it actually kicks off. Where I would assume it's happening at.
Let's hope it's where it's happening. Because that same day is Bo Dallas's birthday. It is Uncle Howdy's birthday that day.
Exactly. So it all makes sense. I would also, but like, dude, yeah, like we said, like, who do they go after first?
I'm still on this whole thing with Braun Strowman.
Braun Strowman, yeah, I would love to see them go after Braun Strowman and him try to like fight their control.
Oh, dude, you and I even talked about last week during Raw is they took out they took out CM Punk from the fucking promo video.
Right?
So I'm kind of interested.
They go after Punk. That would be such a crazy combination because you've got the most wacky. I'm trying to find the right word. It's hard to suspend my disbelief when I watch characters like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when I watch even The Undertaker, even The Undertaker sometimes. When I watch Undertaker or Kane or Bray Wyatt or Boogeyman or Papa Shango, whoever the fuck you want to say.
I'm the Boogeyman.
It's really hard I'm going to get you. It's really hard for me to like believe everything that they're doing in the ring and their whole character arc and stuff like that. So them clashing with probably one of the most believable people in all of wrestling, CM Punk, would be actually really, really cool. Be a really interesting way to go about it.
I don't know. We'll see where this goes. I would love to see the whole thing with Braun, or honestly, kind of fuck with Randy Orton a little bit.
Bro, if they go after Randy Orton again, cause Randy Orton to lose for the first time.
Yeah.
Maybe they cost Randy the King of the Ring tournament.
Ooh. Oh. Oh. Oh.
Oh.
Oh. Oh. I like that.
Kind of onto something there.
But I mean,
maybe.
Yeah. That's all I got from Uncle Howdy, though. It's just all ideas right now. I would love to see more.
It's definitely happening at this point. Like, we were disappointed when it didn't happen at freaking Backlash, but it's definitely happening now. I think that they realized that they messed up by not doing it at Backlash, and that's kind of why they're having the announcers talk about it now to kind of confirm to everybody, like, it's happening, don't worry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I think with this, though, even if we don't see them at King and Queen of the Ring, we see them at the Raw right after, or that SmackDown right after. But if they don't debut soon, it's going to be a lot of Backlash.
Agreed.
It's going to be hella Backlash.
I agree with you there, man.
So
I'm excited for it.
Again, like I said, that's all I got. I mean, you got anything else?
Nope, that is all I've got. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the latest episode of the AR Wrestling Raw and Smackdown review show. Thank you! Don't forget to follow our Twitter at AR Wrestling Pod and Instagram AR_Wrestling_. And we will catch y'all next time.